Hey there, welcome. I'm Katamona, and it's been a hot minute since I last uploaded, but I was waiting for at least the rudimentary model to be finished, which you see here. Toggles are coming, but this is, bare bones. This is what I got, and this is what I'll use. Anyway, I saw this video from Leaflit called My Principles. And I'm really curious, as a frequent Leaflit enjoyer, to see what she lays down here. Let's watch.
At some point in the future, and kind of starting now, that there will be authoritarian forces that are going to try to push things on the right, and I guarantee you it's gonna happen. And all of the kind of loose alliances are gonna break down. That's what I think is gonna happen. I've been saying this, right? Haven't I said that? Haven't I been saying this for like at least a couple weeks now? But yeah, there was a lot of battles, not necessarily like relating to specific content creators, but their communities. And I really think that a lot of this just has to do with authoritarian thinking. A lot of people wanting to push stuff on people. I don't know if that's true. Sapphire Agent says Straub and Christian Twitter wants to ban porn and hentai.
I feel like what she's saying is eventually it's going to come to pass where people are so fed up with what's happening that they're going to push so hard in the opposite direction that it's going to actually be an authoritarian style, a draconian execution of laws to try and push things the way that a lot of people feel like we should be moving into, which very well could be just Christian values. We'll see where this goes.
I don't know if that's true with Straub. I think like the things that were said, you could take it that way, but I don't know if that's what they actually mean. See, Julio says I would ban porn if I could. See, and I'm against that. So this is what I mean. Julio.
What kind of pornography, though? There's a lot of different types of pornography, and I feel like there should be some that probably shouldn't be around, and others that are less harmful. But I mean, let's just get things straight. If you're indulging in gooning to a high degree, not only are you wasting a whole lot of time, but you're also frying your endorphins and your pleasure receptors. It's going to make it more difficult for you to resist the temptation in the future. So that's my advice to you, is find something more productive to do. Go lift weights, go for a walk, maybe meal prep, create something. But if you are gooning nonstop, that life of hedonism is really going to lead you to a dead end, because you're not creating anything, you're not building anything, you're just engaging in wanton pleasure. And I don't recommend it personally, but different strokes for different folks.
Feels like authoritarian. And like I'm friends with Julio, but like I disagree with him like very heavily. Well guys, the statistics actually are very bad. They're very, very much in the favor of like not banning it. That's like yeah. So you can make a couple arguments. So like some of the arguments that are against it are that so even in the case, okay, it goes like this. Let me explain to you the logic behind it. Okay, it goes like this: that it should be banned because it's a societal bad, right? And then you counter with the argument that if you ban it, it increases crime rates, because it does. There's actual statistical evidence that doing that increases crime rates by quite a lot, by the way.
This is true. If you wholesale ban pornography, people are, well, the least able to control themselves will find an outlet any way that they can. And that outlet generally involves forcing themselves upon other people in various ways. From the most extreme that you can think of to petty things like sexual harassment, which, I mean, I say petty. I meant less severe, but all accounts of that is wholly unacceptable. So I didn't mean to make light of that. It's just poor choice of wording. So yeah, a wholesale ban of pornography will more than likely do more harm than good, which is why I feel like it would be certain types. Let's see if we'll see if she gets into, because clearly it sounds like Leaflit doesn't want to have a wholesale ban on pornography. So perhaps she has different types in mind.
It's 100% actually, 100% increase in sexual assault if you ban it. This is the data from Czechoslovakia when it happened in Czechoslovakia, and the thing is the increase of 100% was disproportionately towards children, by the way. So it creates a very, very bad like issue there, right? So the counter argument. So again, like I'm arguing with myself. I'm arguing like from both sides, right?
Well, no, you got to do that, right? This is a great thought experiment, and I wholly endorse this and hope that more people engage with this. If you have an argument, counter your own argument. It's a thought experiment. If you have things that you believe, why do you believe those things? And can you see from an outside perspective a counter to what you believe that makes more sense? I mean, that's the only way that you're going to have your mind changed, is if you openly engage with other ideas, even if those ideas come from your own head. So it's Leaflit is engaging here in healthy self-debate.
Negative externality to the people. So let's make hard drugs legal, says Julio. Well, Julio, there's other externalities to that. Like you're thinking at like you're thinking at like a level 1, like a first layer, first order consequence. You're thinking of first order consequences. There's like way more than that. So like anyway.
Leaflit very recently has been talking quite a bit about first, second, third order consequence, which of course is people generally will only think of the immediate consequence. So say you have a kid and they do something bad, you take their toy away as punishment for them doing a bad thing. The first order consequence of that kid doing a bad thing is, well, the first order is whatever they did that was bad. Say they broke something. That's the first consequence of their misbehavior, is that something broke. The second order of consequence is their punishment to that. Third order consequence is maybe their retaliation to being punished. But yeah, Leaflet's been talking about first, second, and third extending onward consequences for a couple weeks now.
So the for the drug argument, right? I mean, I'm not gonna go into the drug thing very deeply, but it would be like this: you should have the freedom to like do drugs, whatever, right? It doesn't affect anybody, and then you would say, well, it does actually affect people. Well, that's only affecting that person. It's like, no, but there's second order consequences of it affecting that person, affecting everyone around them, right? So going back to the porn hentai argument or whatever, right? So the counter argument to the counter, which is that crime rates would go up, specifically sexual crimes would like increase. The counter argument to that, well, you're not thinking about the externalities on the people that are doing it, right? Because then there's another set of first order consequences on the other side, because now you have the first order consequences on the people that are doing and producing the porn. Does that make sense? Of like, they're...
If you take away the ability for human people to physically engage in recording and committing the act of making pornography, then the second order then is, what will they do now that they're out of work? Are they going to go on a street corner and engage in it, you know, illegally that way? Are they were they using it as an outlet for themselves, and now that outlet's been taken away, so now they have to find that elsewhere? Are they going to go engage in more dangerous behavior now that that's been taken away from them? And those are the things that Leaflit is considering.
The effects on their personal lives, which then has like second order issues with society, right? Around that. Now, you can solve that by saying that, well, actually, hentai and AI porn are ideal. So then you go into that space and that solves all of the problems.
It's really difficult to refute that logic, because if you ban all physical human pornography and all of those people are now, you know, they're out of a job, you're not stimulating your brain by watching other humans engage in it. There's a disconnect between your cognition when it comes to looking at drawn art or 3D art, engaging in that, than it is watching humans perform it. I can't say that as a blanket statement. I'm pretty sure that there's going to be edge cases where chemically the brain reacts to both in a similar or even identical way. But in a generality, it is true that if you are engaging in art, drawn or 3D, then it is less damaging to the brain long term. And again, it all comes down to how often you decide to engage with it. If you are overstimulating yourself, even with this, even with the art form of hentai, it's going to do long-term damage to your development, to your brain, to how you react to things. So if you're gonna goon responsibly.
So what I think is that we should just have AI and hentai. That should be it. But anyway, that's kind of the idea behind it and the argument. But you're gonna see this, like I'm telling you guys, you're gonna see that this is the new battle. This is the new war you're gonna see. This is the battle that you're gonna see kind of occur in the next couple weeks, if it hasn't already started. But you're gonna have sorry, I'm trying to format what I'm thinking. Guys, do I talk too fast? Is that real? People were saying
No, you absolutely do not talk too fast. There's a lot of stutters and ahs and ums and stuff, but when you are like, I'm not a streamer, at least not yet, but I presume that when I am speaking in front of a few hundred people, that I'm going to do the same thing. You have to choose your words very carefully. You formulate your thoughts. I him and ha a lot myself, and this is this is a pre-recorded, or not pre-recorded, but a recorded and edited response, whereas her responses are off the cuff. Julio will do the edits for her and cut out some dead air here and there, but her experience is very raw, whereas mine is very curated, I suppose you could say. But no, Leaflit, you do you. You don't speak too fast.
I talk too fast. Do I need to like talk slower? No? Why were people saying that? Yeah, I don't know. People were like saying that I talk too fast. They were saying I talk like Destiny. I was like,
Like Destiny. No, Leaflit, you talk like XQC, the ×2 speed. That's a joke. You absolutely do not. And this, now that you have responded to it in this way, I would say, Leaflit, don't take that as criticism at all, because now people know that it's something that you're conscious of and it might get under your skin. So immunize yourself to that right now. You're fine.
what? Anyway, so what I was saying is that we're gonna see this happen soon, and the reason why is because the left is rapidly losing power. So imagine the battlefield with me again, okay? The left is collapsing in on itself because they're so fucking dumb. Like,
Oh God, I sure hope so.
I can't really explain it any other way. They're so bad. They're collapsing in on themselves, right? They're losing so much power. Like in real time, like really fast, like a really rapid collapse, right? And what's gonna happen now is that the authoritarian right is going to then turn on people that aren't authoritarian, like me. And like, I already see this happening. Like, this is gonna happen, like, for sure.
Okay, so this is what I guess I was talking about earlier when when Leaflit is saying the authoritarian switch up. The left is losing power. The right is fed up with what's happening with the left, but now the right, in their bid for more draconian control, are going to start going after other people on the right who share their values, just not to the same extent.
And I'm just saying, like, I'm calling it right now. You're gonna see a lot more right on right fighting. It's gonna happen in the next couple of months. Thank you, Vansol. Thank you. It's already happening. I know. That's why you have shit like you have shit like Fuentes like occurring, and he like Matt Walsh, all of the anime hater people. And I just want to say, by the way, because it really has to be said, is like, you guys are fucking punk bitches because we saved your asses.
So I don't watch Fuentes or Destiny or Hassan. I see clips every now and again. Thing is with Nick Fuentes, if he claims to be, big right-wing guy and everything, but then he comes out and he says, we need to all vote Democrat to teach the Republicans a lesson. There is no lesson to teach Republicans by voting for Democrats. Voting for Democrat at this point in time is hoping for the destruction of the United States. There's really no two ways about it. If the Democrats get the full reign of control over the United States again, more people are going to flood into the country. The census is going to get stacked at 2030. More seats are going to be allocated to Democrats. Although, with the Supreme Court ruling recently, which forcefully removes the gerrymandering on the basis of racial lines, which, yes, absolutely, good call. With that ruling from the Supreme Court, it's going to do some insane damage to the amount of electoral control that the left has. But that can all be undone once they get more power. If they have more power, they're going to, and they said that they are going to do it, remove the filibuster in the Senate and pass anything that they want. As soon as they've got majority control, they're going to pass anything that they want. If the House is Democrat, the Senate's Democrat, and they've got a Democrat president, they're just going to push everything through. And, well, with the amount of social the social plans that they want for free healthcare for illegals, the sanctuary states that are quite literally inviting anybody in. You've got Seattle, Oregon, the Pacific Seaboard states are all welcoming anybody who comes in. And in my opinion, that's treason and against the law, because if you are aiding and abetting criminals, that is a crime. And that's what they are doing at a statewide level. I don't see how that's not wholesale illegal. I don't understand how that's not been completely nipped in the bud, but it's being allowed to happen. Not only are the illegals inflating the census numbers and giving counties more population and more electorate power, but as we've discovered from Minnesota, there's that Minnesota Senate hearing asking about the free driver's license thing and how they're able to vote with those driver's license. So if you have not heard, the breakdown is illegals, everybody in the state gets a driver's license. That driver's license automatically puts them in the registry to vote. That registry to vote is frozen until they can verify their person, until they can verify that they are a real person. It was asked in that Senate hearing, or in the House, the Minnesota State House hearing, or whatever it was. It was then asked, is that driver's license valid identification to free up the registration? And the answer was yes, which means illegals are going into these sanctuary states. Any state that has a registration that's automatically sent out when you get a driver's license is frozen until you can use that very same driver's license to free up the freeze on your registration, allowing you to vote in both state and federal elections. They said it out loud. All sanctuary states that have automatic, well, might as well be automatic registration, work in this way. And they have the gall to say that elections are free and fair as it is.
The freaking gamers and the anime people saved your fucking asses. And they're gonna turn on us next. I see it. I can smell it. And Alex Jones too? Oh yeah, they're kicking out Alex Jones too, from what I know. It's all bullshit, man. And this is what I meant. Like,
yeah, Alex Jones is I don't even remember the name of his podcast, but it was sold to The Onion, well, leased to The Onion for many millions of dollars for, I don't know, 6 months or something, as part of the whole Sandy Hook deal, which I think is, well, not funny. I was gonna say it's funny that the people who were affected by what he said are getting something like $1.7 million out of the $1 billion that he was charged in defamation damages. So if a family or a group of families were wronged to the tune of $1 billion, then why are they only getting 1.7 million? Where's the rest of that money going? It's not about the money. It's about sending a message.
There's really no the coalition against the woke is not really a group of people that believe the same thing.
InfoWars. It just came to my head. InfoWars was a podcast that The Onion purchased.
The secret part is the anime people are the more authoritarian right than the public faces. No, I don't think that's true. I don't actually think that's true for the most part. Not at least like core anime. I think core anime is very pro freedom. Yeah, anime is largely anti-government. Yeah, exactly. Silver, thank you so much for the 500. I hate that you're right about this. The right always self-sabotages. Well, both sides do. Right? Because they don't know how to utilize victory. I feel like Tanya. Both sides.
Yeah, both sides self-sabotage. generally the right, currently in power, we have the ability. I say we. I'm not really Republican either, but the right has the ability to do a lot right now, and they just simply won't do it. Why? Because there's a lot of people that are posturing as right when they are really on the left. That's why they call it a uniparty, is because, yeah, it doesn't matter who's in power, nothing ever happens. So you've got people who want to do, commit to change and want to do good things that are sabotaged by other people on their team who don't really see eye to eye. On the right, it's more of a gentle push and shove, a lot of talking and a lot of bluster with no action. On the left self-sabotage is the purity spiral. So you've got people on the left who, I mean, we just saw it recently with the whole anal violence thing, anal violence. Now people that were on that person's team are now saying that Kirsha is her comfort streamer and raking her over the coals for it, calling her a Nazi. It's like, well, that's your team. Those are the people that were your audience. I don't know exactly what happened to you there, but if you cater to that audience, just know that eventually you're not going to be able to keep up with their demands, and they will punish you for it.
Let's do this, right? Like the left did this too, right? The authoritarian left kicked out all of the non-authoritarian left people, like shoe on head. Well, it's not even, sorry, it's not just non-authoritarian. It's also people that weren't like completely ideologically 100% like in line with them. They all got kicked out as well. Okay, so this all ties into something like pretty big. Okay, I'm gonna tell you guys, all right? So I was...
Whoa, are we getting to your principles now, Leaflit?
I was thinking about this morning. I was laying in bed, and I literally was just laying in bed for like a couple hours, like doing nothing. I was just thinking, because I'm retarded, and that's a thing that I do. So...
Screw you, Julio. She might be a little retarded, but she's our slime retarded. Slime retarded? Yes, I'm retarded.
I'm laying there thinking about, okay, like what frameworks do I fit into? Because I feel like everyone does this. Like, what am I? Am I conservative? Am I libertarian? Am I nationalist? What am I, right? And you just sit there and you're just like, where do I fit? Okay, I believe this and this and this and this, and it fits like into this thing.
True. I've had those thoughts too. For the majority of my adult life, I have been considering myself a Democrat. After going through the most recent 3 or 4 election cycles, I started to realize things. I cottoned on to some of the things that the Democrats were saying. I'm like, wait, well, I don't really agree with that. One of the big ones is abortion. I mean, yes, they should be safe when you need them, but when 98% of abortions are elective, you just don't have a reason. I don't know. I feel like I feel like I have a bit more respect for human life to be a Democrat. I've been hearing a lot from various talking heads lately that only the left has earned this moniker too. Is, I mean, they are the party of violence, the party of death. They have absolutely no qualms with seeing people die. I mean, there's no way that I could be associated with a group of people that want to welcome in an unlimited number of people that don't share our culture, that don't share our beliefs, that don't share our faith. Not that a lot of people on the left have faith to begin with. Another thing that Leaflit has been saying a lot about is telos. And the left just don't have any telos. They're hedonistic creatures that are looking out for themselves. They have no legacy. They have no purpose. They're aimless creatures. And when they see somebody else successful, they become crabs in a bucket. They don't want you to succeed. They don't want you to make money because money is evil. But it's okay when they make money. Man, I am truly yap maxing. Continue, Leaflit, please.
And then I think this, but then this fits into this thing, and that conflicts with like what those people believe, right? And I'm sitting there like, I don't really fit in with a lot of this stuff, you know?
I'm really curious as to where this is going to go. I've had much the same series of thoughts. I have trouble sleeping at night sometimes. And I'll sit there. Well, it's because my brain just doesn't shut off. So I've had the thoughts too. Like, well, okay, I'm politically, where am I? I think that, you know, I like private property rights and such. So am I a libertarian? I like the concept of being able to help those, that my tax dollars goes to help those who truly need it. So am I a Democrat? But I also really don't like abortion. The fact that since 1960 whatever, more lives have been ended through abortion than in every world war combined. Like, yeah, I agree, Leaflet. Where do I fit? Where do I land? As far as the social programs go, I should probably expand on that. I don't mind my tax dollars going to help the less fortunate. However, it's very clear that those people have been gaming the system. I like the concept of, if you want those handouts, you have to do something productive. Make it either community service, or you work for, you know, what was it? It's only like 20 hours a week, or 20 hours a, I don't remember what it was, but it was something minute. You could work customer service or a part-time job doing something to get those handouts. But if you do nothing, if you claim complete disability and all it is you claim that you have depression when you don't have it, or I am too heavily autistic to work, give money please, that's wholly unacceptable. And we should be looking into the people who claim that. And yes, it's extremely difficult to prove anything mental, but if they're able to drive a car, they're able to work a cell phone, browse the internet, there's a job that they can do. Put them to work. Make them earn those handouts. I want my money, my tax dollars, going to the people who would use it as a crutch so that they could push themselves up and put them into a place where they no longer need those handouts. Those are the people who deserve the help. Those, that, or the people who truly do need it. And that's where the slippery slope is. There are those who cannot work. There are those who suffer either physically or mentally to the point where they are unable to do any kind of labor, any kind of documentation, data entry, whatever. They are just simply unable to do it. There are those people out there, and they need help. I certainly don't want to put them to death. That sounds pretty inhumane. But there are the vast majority of people receiving these benefits can work, but don't work. That was one of the arguments that I've had when people are saying, well, who's going to pick the crops if we remove all the brown people, which is a heavily racist statement to begin with. There's more illegals in here than just black and brown people. Anyway, They had those people saying, who's going to pick the crops because they're removing all the brown people. When you force the people to get jobs that have been abstaining from work because they're riding the government's dick and suckling at the teat of tax money without contributing anything, if you are able to force these people to work, then we will have the workers to do it. Right now, we have an incredibly lazy society that is doing nothing but wanting more handouts, more gibs from the government. And that's what the left offers them. They want to take everybody's money and give it to these people that just don't want to do anything. Yes, I too would love to just sit at home, make videos, since my time is very, very limited, you know, and just have fun and engage in just wanton hedonism. There's a lot of people out there who can't. Like physically, they sit down and they look at their phone, look at a computer for 20 minutes, and they just get an itch. They got to get up and do something. Like, yes, I'd love to stay at home and do nothing. But even my doing nothing is still doing something. We have the workers here in the United States. They just don't want to work. And because they don't want to work, they vote for the party that allows them to not work. That party invites millions upon millions of people into the country who also do not want to work. And they are incentivized to vote for the party that allows you to not work. See how this goes? See how I can no longer be a Democrat when this is how they treat people? They're using people as pawns for power. What's going to happen when they run out of people's money? What happens when they have no money to give to anybody else anymore? They're not going to give up their own money. Oh, no, no, no. Anyway, where were we? So yes, Leaflit, you were saying something about not knowing where you fit in. I agree. Guess that's really all I had to say.
And then I realized I had like kind of an epiphany of like, if I don't fit into any of these, like, why don't I just make my own?
Reasonable.
So that's what I did. I made my own framework. So I have my own moral framework now, which is great.
Hit me with it.
And it's completely compatible with Protestant Christianity. Leafism? No, it's called stellar humanism. That's the name of it. And it's all about how God's creation is awesome. And that's humans. Humans are awesome. And since you love God, God
Humans
loves
awesome.
creation, because God created everything and said it was good. And God loves his creation. So if that's true, then we should do our best to protect creation, which means we have to go to space.
I love it when Leaflit starts yapping and she closes her eyes. She's thinking about her line of thought. It's I don't know. It's a charm point. It's not criticism. I like it.
I already talked about this.
We have to go to space, you said?
But all of the morality can secularly be binded by that. And like the problem, right, is like, you know, if I go full religious on it, right, and I say, okay, well, it's...
Yes. How does going to space tie in with Christianity?
It's about loving God's creation and God's morality. No one else is gonna buy that, to be honest. Like anyone that is atheist or a different religion is gonna be like, well, I don't buy that shit, right? And so you lose. You basically lose a bunch of people like for that ideology. So like, here, let me tell you what I have. Okay, here's the core axiom, okay, guys? The core axiom, it's a core secular axiom that everyone can get behind, and it's totally compatible with Christianity.
All right.
At least Protestantism. Might not be compatible with Catholicism, because y'all are hella authoritarian. But it goes like this. Humanity is a net positive force in the universe. Our highest moral duty is to maximize our long-term survival and flourishing by escaping single planet vulnerability and reaching the stars.
Okay, so humans are a net good on the universe. I mean, I've heard a lot of people say that humans are a cancer. They drain resources from everything they touch. I mean, that's true. And the whole purpose is to expand itself. Just like any other living creature, humans have the need to expand so that they can live better lives. That's how... The best thing about humans is their freaking brain, all right? Their brain. It's been designed for pattern recognition. I know that's racist. Brains are awesome. And yes. So what I think Leaflit is going to say here is single planet existence is by nature doomed to fail. The planet will not be here forever. The time limit, unless humans get to it first, is like what, 2 billion years before the sun expands to the point where it boils our oceans and everything dies, or a meteor hits the earth, or the shield that is Jupiter fails and a comet or a meteor comes, not a comet, meteor comes in and wipes us all out. Or humans engage in nuclear war and we enter an ice age brought on by nuclear winter. One very easy way, I say easy, but the simplest solution to that is, well, leave the planet. If it's not the only one we have, I think of Bender from Futurama.
And Bender, that aerosol head spray makes your antenna smell nice.
Thank you.
But it's doing long-term damage to the planet.
So, it's not like it's the only one we've got.
Dude's got a point, as crass as he is. If we can leave the Earth, then we escape the inevitable fate of doom. Because yes, the planet will not last forever. Humanity might not last forever, but that's what it sounds like. Leaflet's whole goal here is the forever continuation of humanity, the continued evolution through ingenuity, creation, development, eventually space travel, whether that be interstellar, faster than light, what have you. Who knows how far the humans can take this? But we won't know unless we try. So what I think Leaflit is going to say here then is, I still am unclear as to how it ties in with religion, but I'm sure she'll get on with that since it hasn't been touched on yet. Aside from, God loves creation, God loves humans, humans were made in his image, and by image, I actually looked this up not too long ago. The original Hebrew of image in this case, and I couldn't tell you what the word meant, but the gist of what I was reading said that it was more of a spiritual thing. So we weren't made in the physical image of God, according to the Bible. It was more he bestowed upon us free will. He bestowed upon us the ability to discern between right and wrong, and the ability to learn, grow, and have feelings for one another. The general spirit of being good. That is and the concept of morality and all that. That is what we were made in his image to be. Not that he has a head, 2 arms, 2 legs, 2 eyes. He might not look human, but we as people carry the spirit of what he wants us to be.
Any action, policy, or personal choice is ethically evaluated by whether it net advances or at least does not meaningfully hinder civilizational capacity for space expansion, technological progress, scientific knowledge, productive human capital, low time preference culture, population health, innovation drive, etc.
So stellar humanism to Leaflit. Anything that will help expand humanity to the stars is a net benefit to humanity, is part of the core tenets of this I'm not religion, but school of thought, we'll say. Which means to me, it's not about, are you a rocket scientist? Are you a computer programmer? Are you a computer engineer? An electrician? It doesn't mean you have to be contributing to building spaceships. It doesn't mean you have to be building the technology to get us to space. It just means that you have the will. I mean, this is also, the Bible tenet of you will eat off the sweat of your brow. So do the work and get fed. That's just good. It's just a good thing to live by. Don't expect anything for free. If you want to eat, you better work for it. And I think that's what is leading on to this. So if you say, like, I work in a manufacturing job, it doesn't matter what it is that we're building. I'm paying taxes to a civilization that is paying grants and such to people who do know how to do those things that will push us into space. So I would be contributing even if I am unable to do the technical jobs that would take us skyward. I believe that's what she's saying.
What do you guys think? So basically, all of morality, you can have a secular morality that basically says, if you are fucking around, it is immoral to fuck around and not get us to space.
Well, I believe that's why they call it the sin of sloth. Having the overarching goal is something that I think a lot of people would find helpful. Because as far as biblical tenets go, yeah, God did not want you to just sit around and do nothing. You had to be a contributing member of your society, as long as you were able to be. So, I mean, this falls in line with that. And I will say right now, yeah, I'm talking Bible stuff a lot, but I am not religious. I just like the fact that I rolled a nat 20 that placed me here in the United States. I grew up in a high trust society where I could be outside until sundown, come home when the street lamps came on, leave the house to play with friends without a cell phone. My parents didn't know where I was, but they could trust that I would come home because it was safe. Because that's the society that America became, that the United States became. And it was because the states developed their culture off of biblical tenets. If you follow those tenets, you will live a wonderful life. What would make that life even better is if everybody lived by those tenets. So, yes, if your base school of thought for stellar humanism involves people not being lazy, involves people actually being contributing members of society, even if they're doing their own thing, as long as they are not sitting on their ass just being hedonistic, then yeah, they're furthering the overarching goal of society, of the society that they're in.
So I feel like everyone can get on board with it. Tower of Babel? How is it Tower of Babel? It's not Tower of Babel. The reason why you have to get to space is because
Tower of Babel didn't work because you had all kinds of people from different cultures and different languages mingling all in one place, and because there was culture clashes, of course it didn't work. because not everybody saw eye to eye. So yeah, stellar humanism is, if that was the prevalent goal, the primary school of thought that we were using to further our existence as humans, and everybody who thought that way was part of it. Okay, say fast forward 1,000 years. We develop space travel. You have the stellar humanism people are the ones who got us there. And of course, not everybody on the planet is going to follow that that doctrine. I think that's the word I was looking for. Not everybody is following the doctrine of stellar humanism. Do the stellar humanistic people invite them onto their spaceships when they leave the planet? I would say no. Absolutely not. Why would you invite people who did not fight to get there? Why would you give them a seat on your spacecraft? They don't follow your tenets. They don't believe what you believe. More than likely, they're just going to be subversive. Don't let them on. That's borders. That's gatekeeping. Don't let people in that clearly don't think or feel the way that you do. So no, this couldn't be a Tower of Babel type thing, because only the like-minded people are allowed to go. And honestly, that's probably for the best. You have the people who want to push for the highest that humanity can reach, and anybody who doesn't think that way can just stay on Earth. They, their progeny, their kin, their legacy, everything is going to get wiped out with the Earth when the Earth dies. The rest of humanity, the stellar humanism, the stellar humanistic people have already left the planet. They've already gone on to bigger and better things. They're gone. I mean, it seems like a pretty good goal.
We are in danger. Like a one planet civilization, all of creation can be blown up. And like, you can't really count on the world ending. Like, you can't, like, look, okay, speaking, like, I'm stepping out of this stellar humanism now, stepping into Christian, okay? You can't count on God ending the world before that happens. Because we don't know when the world ends.
No, we don't know when the world ends. And I think what Leaflit is saying about we can't rely on God ending the world is because humans, more than likely, is going to take out the world before death by natural causes, so to speak. Natural as in giant meteor or the expansion of the sun in billions of years. That would be God taking out the world. Humans are a destructive force. They can be beautifully creative, but also insanely destructive.
So, like, to assume that the world ends before that before the planet is unusable, that is a dereliction of duty of stewardship, isn't it? How about trusting God's plan? Okay, but
that's an interesting choice of words. I like it. Dereliction of duty of stewardship. If we allow the planet to be ruined before we have the option of leaving the planet and we destroy ourselves, that suits that quite nicely, actually. Dereliction of duty of stewardship. Yes, it is our duty to care for the planet until we can no longer use the planet. The planet is our home. It'll forever be the home of Earthlings, of human beings. But as I stated before, the Earth will not be there forever. Humans can be.
okay, but see, that's a sin. That's literally a sin, Kitsune. It's a sin to say, oh, well, God isn't going to blow up the planet. Well,
Trust in God's plan, said somebody in chat. So God's plan is just to have humans sit around and wait for the destruction of Earth? That's it? That's all humans have to look forward to, is go forward and multiply on Earth until it's destroyed, until I destroy it? let's suppose that's what the rapture comes in, right? So we just live on Earth until the rapture. But correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't the rapture the physical ascension of humans on Earth, where they leave the planet? Isn't that true? Isn't the rapture the physical lifting of bodies into the sky? Why can't that be humans leaving Earth on spaceships? If we are physically leaving the planet that is dying, leaving the unchosen people, I mean, it fits the rapture well. I don't know. Maybe she's cooking here.
How do you know that? How do you know that the enemy isn't going to blow up the planet? And to be like, well, God's got us. I mean, that, so I don't have to do anything. That's a sin. I don't know if that's what you meant. I'm assuming it's what you meant, because I don't know what other context you could have said that, but I mean, do you have a real vision God will destroy the planet? So like the idea, right? So the idea is if you...
Yes, we do have revelation. God will destroy the planet. And that is by nature too. God destroying the planet, like I said, would be some crazy natural disaster. A global natural disaster where nothing can survive it. Like I said, the Earth will not live forever. But God trusted humans, being made in his image, to create, develop, and expand. So why would it not be in God's best interest to have his people leave their home planet and spread their wings and fly? We've been nestlings here on Earth for thousands of years. Who's to say that we can't leave and it would still be his will?
We have to have multiple planets. And there's multiple reasons for this, because there's multiple fail states in humanity. There's multiple fail states. So like, let me give you a couple examples. Fail state number 1, total Quango control. All right, let's assume that the Quangos, like the leftist Quangos, do total takeover. It's over. Everything is gonna be fucked.
This is what is currently trying to happen. We've got total Quango control incoming. And this isn't just people on the left. There's Quangos on the right too.
Right? And let's say that, I don't know, maybe you could say there's a nuclear path for like everything blowing up. There's a fucking alien path for everything blowing up. There's a pandemic path for everything blowing up. There's a global warming or whatever the hell.
Yeah, so we have the UFO files being released now. So yeah, maybe aliens are closer than we think. And then we have the Havana virus or whatever that was just announced on a cruise ship that never was transmitted to humans before, but now there's an immense outbreak, and that ship docked in Spain, letting those people out with an incredibly infectious virus.
Oh, people want to say path for everything blowing up. There's like solar flare, like asteroid, like there's so much shit that can happen that could blow us up, right? And even like if you want to go, so Quango left takes over, and they make everything into an unlivable, like Cronenberg, like hellscape, right?
It turns into a communistic hellscape where well, I mean, just take a look at Cuba. That's the closest I can't talk. Closest example proximal to the United States that we have. And that's what will happen once the people in control take all the money.
That's one. If the Quango right takes over, then Islam takes over, and it's cooked too. We need freedom. We need freedom, basically. Sounds like trying to save everyone, but that's not our job. Wait, you mean me?
I'm drinking water.
I'm trying to save everyone. It's not his job. Why is it not my job? Wait, what? What do you mean it's not my job? Oh, you're talking to Walla. Okay, I can't tell. Darth Grumpy.
Yeah, somebody in chat on the top left there had just said Quango left and Quango right are both pro-Islam. Which is kind of true. You have the Quango left saying being against Muslims is Islamophobic, but not all Muslims are Islamic. Islamic is an ideology, not a race. And yeah, there's no such thing as Islamophobia. There are very legitimate reasons to be afraid of Islam. I prefer to keep my neck where it is. Thank you very much.
Happy Dad Games, thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you for the sub. But there's so many fail states, right? If you think of it like a visual novel, right? Ragnarok, thank you for the tier 3, thank you. If you think about a visual novel, right? There are so many bad ends that we can reach, and they're not even beyond, like, all of these bad ends are not improbable, right? Like, a virus could happen and then we're cooked.
Virus is happening.
I kept saying, like,
again.
a meteor could hit us and we're cooked, right? They're more likely, yeah, it's very likely that something will happen, right? So again, stepping back into the Christianity thing, so that people can kind of understand where I'm coming from. If you love God, you have to love creation, and you as a steward of creation, it is your job to protect it, right? Which involves moving humanity into the future. And because of all of those fail states, we have to create a situation in which we are safe from the fail states.
I like the word stewardship. And the reason why is because it infers a sense of duty. And that's something that I feel like a lot of people have lost, is to have a personal sense of duty. I am married, and hopefully Ayama and myself will have a child in the future. My duty is to them. My duty is to my parents. I have no living grandparents. If they were still alive, my duty would be to them, to at least honor them. And there's a lot of people who are out there that just live for themselves. I have a stewardship to my own home, to my family. And that's what keeps me going. So when Leaflit says that it is human stewardship, it is our responsibility, it is our duty to keep the planet running as long as we can to sustain ourselves. But it's also our duty, like she said, to avoid the fail states. To avoid the fail states that are either total Quango destruction or planetary destruction. We need to have ways out of these fail states. Yeah, it sounds to me like the best way to do that is to leave the planet. We are beholden to this planet. It provides us with everything that we have, but it won't be here forever.
We are more protected from fail states, and if we can become an interstellar, at least interplanetary, but interstellar eventually, intergalactic in the end, civilization, then if one planet gets destroyed, we're still okay. This sounds like running away.
And at that point, we'll have the technology to be able to detect when a planet is going to be destroyed. So we would have the ability and the will to then evacuate that planet, depending on how large humanity is, because if we flee the planet, we see the destruction incoming and we flee it, but the destruction is imminent, then no, we would not be able to save everybody. We just do not have the resources to pull 7-8 billion people off the planet in short order. And again, that would become a Tower of Babel situation. If we did pull every living human being off of this planet and put them all in one place, well, let's just say that Western white people are only something like 13% of the planet. If we have some sort of democracy for this spacefaring version of humanity, the people because I guarantee you the people that would take us there are either Eastern Asians or white people, but they are drastically outnumbered on the planet. And if we pulled everybody in the planet and put them all in one place and gave everybody a vote, well, let's just say that white people and Asians probably wouldn't be living very long, depending on the amount of force that we could levy to try and balance the scales, as it were.
Why? How does it sound like running away?
There's nothing wrong with running away. Leaving the world is furthering the human race. It's in our best interest. Running from certain death is not cowardice.
And yes, actually, you're kind of right. To be honest, you're kind of right. We do have to have an escape option, because think about the founding fathers of America. Like, would you say that they're pussies because they went to the New World? Because they didn't like the authoritarianism that was going on. They didn't like the crown. They didn't like all that shit. So they moved over all of those people. Like, are they pussies?
Yep. Cowards, all of them. They built the strongest and best nation on the planet, but they're cowards.
Like, I prefer the word pioneer, you know? Luminous Glow says, we are giving free will by God for a reason. Just removing genitals on the priest was deemed not good by the church, since it removes temptations. Removing choice and free will does not get people automatically good, since the entire point of giving free will, forcing people into being good, doesn't absolve them from sin. And that's what the authoritarians don't understand.
The top comment right there says, do you realize how hard it is to get to Proxima Centauri, which I believe is the closest Earth-like planet? Like, it's going to take a generation ship to maybe get there. Yes, that's true. So what? This isn't about your life. It's not about my life. It's not even about my kid's life. It's not even about my grandkids' life. This is about planting a tree whose shade you will never get to enjoy. There's something beautiful in that. This is about constructing a way to get to Proxima Centauri eventually. Who's to say the planet even, is still there by the time we arrive? Doesn't matter. We'll find a new planet. And if that one doesn't work, we'll find a new planet. And if we find one that does work, then we'll settle in, spread our roots in that planet while we go look for others. That's the hard part, is leaving Earth. But if we can have a self-sustaining civilization in the stars, then it doesn't matter how long it takes us to find a planet. There will be planets. We will find them. Human will is incredible.
Herman Status, thank you for the 500. I believe Matthew 25:14-30 fits your views of humanity to have impetus to grow, care for creation, and reach to the stars. Yeah, exactly. Right, and see, do you see how I mean by it's also secular? Because you can secularly get behind it as well. Right? It's like, if you just, all you have to agree with is that humanity is awesome. And
yes.
Humanity has value and has to continue into the future. If we can agree on that, then we can agree on most of it.
Another note, we need space if we want to fulfill God's command to multiply until our children are as numerous as the stars in the sky. There are a lot of stars, more than can
multiply until our children are as numerous as the stars in the sky. I don't know that one. One sec. AI overview. Yes, the Bible contains several promises from God to Abraham and his descendants that their offspring would be as numerous as the stars, often mentioning the sand on the seashore as well. These promises are essential to the covenant of Genesis. Genesis 22:17, I will surely bless you and make your descendants as numerous as the stars in the sky and as the sand on the seashore. Well, yeah. I will multiply your descendants as the stars of heaven and give your descendants all these lands. Look, he took him outside and said, look at the sky and count the stars, if indeed you can count them. Then he said to him, so shall your offspring be. Deuteronomy 1:10. The Lord your God has increased your number so that today you are as numerous as stars in the sky. So that today? If you take this passage literally then, There's absolutely no way that the Earth can sustain the amount of people as there are stars in the sky. It can't be done. Along with the rapture stating that you will rise in your flesh into the heavens, well, combine the two, and it very well sounds like you will rise to the stars. It is by my will, and you will expand outward forever. So yeah, indeed, if we are not working towards being a spacefaring civilization, and even, you know, the Kardashev scale being that, you know, the level 1 is being able to harness all of the power of your planet, and level 2 is being able to harness all of the power of your star, 3 is solar system, 4 is galaxy. Even a level 1, even if we were able to obtain level 1, we are still beholden to the Earth, and once the Earth is no longer able to sustain life, what do? That's a fail state. Level 1 does not allow humans to evade the fail state of the Earth dying. The second is the sun. Well, so too, the sun will not last forever. Even if we are able to make a Dyson sphere and harness the power of the sun fully, I mean, I guess there's a scale to that too, because if you're able to harness the power of the sun in its entirety, then maybe you are able to prevent the fail state of solar expansion. You could make the Earth live longer that way too. Nothing lasts forever, and that's by design. So even if you are a civilization 1 and 2, eventually your star is going to die. Your planet is going to die. So where do you go? You have to go searching. You have to expand. It's the only way humans can live ad infinitum.
Fit on Earth. The anti-space Christians.
So true. Even literally, Walla. Thank you. But what do you guys think? What do you guys think of stellar humanism? What do you think? I put it in my freaking bio on X.
I'm a fan.
I changed my thing to it. It says it right here. See? That's my new thing. Is it gonna be a YouTube video? I don't know. Maybe. But I feel like we can all get on board with this, right? And it's very like anti-Quango.
Also a white girl. Pressing X to doubt. I know you won the award, but I know what you are.
It's total anti-Quango ideology. And see,
I feel like any ideology that presses for creation and anti-laziness is going to be anti-Quango. If you want to do things and you want to create things, and you don't want people to take your money to give it to other people who aren't even bothering to try and work, you're anti-Quango.
See, now within that moral framework, right? If the moral framework is a non-religious one, because again, what I said about moral frameworks, right, is like if you use a religious moral framework and that's all it is based on a religious principle of not getting not getting Thanos snapped by God, if that's like your entire like, do you guys see how this is so weak? Like, am I the only one that thinks this? Like, I think that the entire ideology that a lot of people have, like especially like religious people, but like this isn't just, I mean, there's two opposing like cringe ideologies. Like one of them is that like it doesn't really fucking matter what you do. That's like one of them. Oh, it doesn't really fucking matter. There's nothing after this life. Fuck, who gives a shit, right? I can just like fucking jack off all day. Doesn't matter.
There's worse than that too. So you even have religious people who want to forcefully build the third temple, which will bring about the end of the world, because they want to have the second coming of Christ. Like they want to purposefully destroy the world so that the prophecy can come true. It's hard to believe those people exist, but just so that they can see the end times with their own eyes, they would want to bring about apocalypse. It's just Quangos, man.
That's like one side of the spectrum, and the other side is like, oh well, you know, I don't want to go to hell, so I better be good. I better be good, otherwise God Thanos snaps me.
I know many people that are this way, that they have professed openly that if they didn't have religion, then they wouldn't have a reason to be a good person. And that also just kind of blows my mind. So you need the promise of everlasting life to make you be good. Like, clearly those people need religion, because without it they would be a menace to society. But it's hard to understand where somebody like that comes from, you know?
And I'm like, wait, so your entire religion, your entire like religious like motive is like fear-based? Like, what the hell is that? Like, your entire reason, your raison d'etre is that you don't want God to blow you up? Like, what the hell? Like, it's so lame. Like, Sonic the Hedgehog, thank you so much for the bits, thank you. And like, I'm not saying that that's not gonna happen. What I'm saying is that, like, if that's your motive to exist, that, what? So like, your entire like love of God is based on fear?
Well, yes, there's the whole expression, put the fear of God in somebody, and God-fearing Christian. Yes, as a matter of fact, one of the greatest things that people say about Christianity and being a Christian is they have the fear and love of God in their heart. I never personally understood the fear of God, because I mean, he's supposed to be the one with the most reason and love in his heart for his fellow humans, though he's not afraid to, you know, commit retribution where applicable, and has done so many times in the Bible. But yes, Leaflit, that's very standard Christianity, is having the fear of God.
Like, what the hell? Like, it's just so weird, right? Which is why I think, like, that's why I think this framework is way more healthy. Even from a religious Christian perspective, the framework is, I love God so much that I need to continue God's creation. That I have to love that. I have to maximize that which God loves.
If every Christian felt that way, then yeah, things would probably be a lot different. But we have that little pesky thing called free will that gets in the way.
If God, like, if we can agree as Christians that God loves humanity and loves creation.
I think free will is great, by the way. I didn't mean to make it sound disparaging.
We should want to maximize, our love should be to maximize what God loves. It shouldn't be based on, like, you're scared. It just seems lame. Drew Victor says, I always use secular arguments, Leaf, even though I'm a person of faith. The issue is purely religious arguments is a significant fraction of people will tune them out, even if they might otherwise agree with you. Yeah, exactly, Drew. Exactly my point. Necrotic Arm, thank you so much for the sub. Thank you. Like, I totally want. I'm gonna look at this, Ron. Give me a second. Let me finish my thought. I totally agree with that, and that's the reason why I keep advocating for not using religious arguments in public debates. So, like,
yeah, somebody in chat, top left again. Now let's just destabilize the Mideast. Third temple time, because the creation of the third temple is supposed to bring about the second coming of Christ. So, or I guess in Judaism, the true prophet, something like that. Could be wrong about that. I don't know the specifics. I'm not Jewish.
if it's a debate between two Christians, then you can use a religious argument because you both agree to the rules. Does that make sense? Because if you don't, then explaining what Drew is saying is, if you take a religious argument to a secular or an argument from another religion, then what happens is you say, well, God says this, and then they say, well, don't give a fuck. Right? Like, I don't care. Like, I don't really care about your religion. And
yeah, I used to be one such person too. Somebody mentions, well, God says this. It's like, well, why do I care? I've changed my tune somewhat I acquiesce to the point that we live in a culture and a country that was built upon Christian values, and without it, I mean, we would just be like any other place on earth that's less cool than the United States. So I understand that maybe there is something to it, and if we were, I mean, I've heard this said by Nux as well. If we all lived, even if we were not religious at all, not even in the slightest, but if we lived based on biblical values, it would give us the greatest material wealth and pleasure that we could possibly have. Not only would we have a family, not only would we work towards growing that family, not only would we be working towards the security of our family, and in this case, in Leaflit's case, for stellar humanism, we'd be working towards the advancement of pushing humans into stars, into space. You eat off the sweat of your brow. That hard work makes everything else that's not hard work feel much better. People who don't know hardship, people who are hedonistic and engage in self-pleasure all the time, whenever their resistance to hardship decreases. They're unable to withstand pushback because they've built no resistance to being pushed back upon. So yes, I might not be a religious person, but I absolutely understand that the only reason why we were able to grow up in a high trust society in the United States of America is because of the foundational principles that our society was built upon. Look anywhere else on earth, anywhere, that does not share the same principles, then compare their people's rights, their people's economy to ours, and it's just very clear that it's just inferior. We live in the best country, bar none. If you don't agree, then go live in a different country. That's what people are catching flack from when they say that there are cultures that are inferior, which is true. And I will say, in the United States, we had a culture that endorsed slavery, and that is no longer a thing. So, was our culture back when we had slaves the same as the culture we have now? Was it worse or better? Yeah, that's what I thought. It was worse. We had a worse culture, and now we have a better culture. And yes, you can compare our culture to any other culture on the planet and weigh whether or not it's better or worse. That's all that's being said. We know the value of hard work, at least we did. It all started sliding downhill with the millennials. You have the helicopter parents raising their Zoomer kids, putting tablets and cell phones in their hands at a young age, not really raising them well, not telling them no, not giving them spankings when they're out of line. Like, yeah, I was swatted as a kid, and I'll tell you why. If I was told not to do something, and I was told what that punishment would be, and then I did that thing anyway, I would receive the punishment that I was told I would receive. What's wrong with that? A law was laid down. I know the punishment for that law. I broke that law, and now I get punished for it. Yes, consequences are good. Teach your kids consequences. People now, Zoomers, Gen Alpha is I'm a little scared that Gen Alpha is going to do what we were talking about earlier, that we were going to have a very authoritarian right-wing people, and Gen Alpha is fed up with what's going on. The oldest Gen Alphas are 16 years old, so they can't vote yet, but just wait until they can. It's gonna get crazy.
Then what happens is that it's over. Like, the argument's over. Now, and that's why I said that stellar humanism is such a good framework, because all you have to agree on is that humanity is good. And I think it is good and should exist in the future. If you can agree with both of those things, now we have a framework from which to work around. Does that make sense? It's a secular framework, but it's compatible with the religious framework because it's the same goal, right? The secular goal and the religious goal are the same. The goal being to reach space so that we can go forth and multiply. There's a common ground there, right? And that's the idea behind it, is that all of the ethics can be derived from that, right? So
Yeah.
does a thing, so for instance, like, would being lazy be immoral within this framework? The answer is yes, because you are not contributing to, you are actively not contributing in making the thing better.
Yes, being lazy, I mean, already it's a sin, and I don't think Leaflit means sin as in sin of sloth or a religious sin. Just means it's antithetical to stellar humanism. But I will say, it is okay to be lazy. At times. It's okay to let off steam and just veg. There are certainly times now, after miraculously owning a house, there's a lot of work that needs to be done. But sometimes you just gotta relax. What I'm trying to do now is, I mean, and having a model now that I can use is going to give me more motivation to do it. But instead of being lazy, and I think if I can train myself into this habit, then it's what I just feel is right. So instead of being lazy, instead of just sitting in bed with my phone, just doom scrolling on Twitter or browsing YouTube, or sitting in front of my computer just not really doing anything. Because yeah, I play video games, I play gacha games, I play Helldivers, occasionally friend swap like Repo and Phasmophobia, but I'm going to try and train myself that if I'm sitting at my computer and I don't want to go outside and mow the lawn, do the weeds, scrape the roof, you know, all that kind of fun stuff that you got to do when you own a house, then why not use that lazy time to be productive? You just got to train yourself to do it. It's kind of like when I first lost a whole bunch of weight. I was 195 pounds at 5'8", like 25% body fat. I was the titular image of a person that you would think of when you say skinny fat. I worked out with a personal trainer for 6 months, and I didn't really see much of a change to my body. I was definitely way stronger, but I wasn't really seeing any physical changes. And that's because I hadn't dialed my diet in. Diet, as many of you probably understand, is incredibly important when it comes to fitness and health. So I started dialing in my diet, counting calories and all that kind of stuff. This was pre-COVID. And I started seeing some physical changes to my body. Then one February, I was like, I am tired of looking at myself in the mirror, so I'm going to do something drastic. That drastic decision was doing an hour of cardio every day, half an hour on a Stairmaster, half an hour either on a treadmill or an elliptical, on top of weightlifting for at least 45 minutes a day, while only eating like a handful of carrots, 2 apples and a banana every day for 28 days, the month of February. I took a bunch of supplements. I took machine greens from MTS, not sponsored, and I felt wonderful through the entire experience. I did not have a crash. I did not feel sick. I did not feel nauseous. I did not feel lightheaded. I felt great the entire 28 days. I lost 30 pounds in 28 days. So all of those hidden gains in strength that I had built up over that first 6 months had suddenly become visible. I finally didn't hate looking at myself in the mirror anymore. Man, now I know how streamer brain works. I don't remember exactly what led me into this tirade, but my point is, if you want to be lazy, it's fine to be lazy. You know, it's okay to be lazy. It's okay to play video games. That's probably how I ended up getting here. It's okay to play video games and just let off stress and steam. It's okay to drink alcohol every once in a while. I don't really. I have a glass of gin every now and again. If you can convert that lazy time into something productive, you just turn yourself from, I don't want to do this physical thing right now because it's tiring. I've had a full work week and I'm physically exhausted. I'm sore from working out. I don't want to push a mower around. I don't want to use the edger. I don't want to use the weed whacker. I just want to chill. If you could turn that chill time into something else that's productive, man, just think of all the stuff that you could do. 3 hours a day, dedicate yourself to doing something. For me, it's going to be like recording videos and editing. But for another person, and it should be me too, learn a language. With all the resources available to us online, to just start learning a language. But again, it's hard. You have to dedicate yourself to it. Like one of the most famous pathways to art that has been documented was PewDiePie drawing every day for, I don't know, it was something like 6 months. He was drawing every day, and it showed that he had made marked improvement very, very quickly. You just have to commit yourself to something. If you want to do it, do it. And in this capitalistic society, you could turn a talent into money. Wouldn't that be nice? So I feel like not only do I myself need to teach myself that skill, but I recommend everybody else do it as well. If you stop beating off, you will have a lot more time to yourself. A lot more time to learn a skill, a lot more time to even play games with friends, write a story, draw, build something. Your relaxing time doesn't mean that it has to be nothing time. And it's high time that I learned that valuable lesson myself.
Getting us to space by being lazy. By being like a commie, you are definitely not getting us to space. Do you see what I mean? No, it's not. It's actually the opposite of communism, Ver. It's very, very, it's actually the thing it's the closest to is actually American foundationalism. This is a new religion? No, it's not.
Manifest destiny.
How's it a new religion? It's not even religious. It's secular.
It's not religion.
It's separated. That would be like saying that being a Republican is a religion. Like, what do you mean?
Probably is to some people.
That's like saying that conservatism is a religion. It just doesn't make any sense. It's philosophy. Yeah, it is. It's philosophy. What is the word for it? What's the word for it? It's a political ideology. Is that right? It's a philosophy. It's a definition of moral philosophy. Tribalism. It's actually anti-tribalist. So the reason why it's anti-tribalist is because we want people to like experiment with a bunch of shit. Because experimenting with a bunch of shit actually gets us there. It's both? How is it both, Julio? What do you mean it's both? It's compatible, but it's... Hold on. How is it both? Can you explain that to me? Do you know what techno-puritanism is? That's Malcolm's thing, isn't it? Isn't techno-puritanism... That's Malcolm and Simone's thing, right? I actually don't know about it. If you can choose one planet you want to live on Uranus.
Ha ha ha.
So would Elon be a stellar humanist?
Might
Probably.
be. Yeah. If he wants
I'd
to go to
say
the
so,
stars, he wants to improve humanity.
But basically, like, for me, it's not a replacement of Christianity. It's a replacement of, like, Republicans. Because, like, let's be real. Republicans fucking suck.
Yeah, they do.
Like, can we be, like, real on that? Like, they suck. Like, libertarianism sucks, too.
Yeah.
Right? It all fucking sucks. And this is how I came to this conclusion. This is how I woke up in the morning and I was thinking about this, because it all sucks. I was like, what am I? Am I a Republican? Am I, like, what am I? Am I Republican? Am I a libertarian?
I woke up and realized
what
everything
fits me?
sucks.
And I was like, wait a minute, these all fucking suck. Yeah, so I was like, you know what? I'm just not gonna fit into any political ideology. I'm just gonna make my own. And again, it's not a religion. It's not a religion. You could believe whatever you want. You can be a secular. So you can be secular and you can still be a stellar humanist. People think I'm MAGA. Well, I mean, it's fairly close to MAGA because the beliefs are very close to American foundationalism. So it's fairly similar. Same mindset, same pioneering mentality.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with the description of MAGA, considering it's Make America Great Again. It's only said as a slur or has a negative connotation because it's associated to Donald Trump and people hate Donald Trump. That's really it. The whole doctrine behind Making America Great Again, there's nothing wrong with it at all. In fact, a lot of people on both sides of the political spectrum can agree with it. They just don't agree with who's saying it.
Secularism is a religion? No? Yep, a pioneering action-focused drive? Exactly. And see, like, everything ties in, right? Everything does, right? So, here, let me explain. We need scientific advancement. We need people to... Everybody has a role to play. It's like I said. Like, in this ideology, everybody has a role to play, like, no matter, like, how low-stated you are. Because we need people to, like, make more people. Which is why I said we need to have lots of babies. Because that gets us, like, more people. And more people is already good, like, by default. By the initial concept, the initial axiom of humanity being a general good already fulfills that.
I don't know if Leaflit will ever see this, but I will say I wanted to show your Make Baby song to my wife just to see her reaction to the chorus, and not only did it make her laugh like crazy, but she I'll sometimes hear the song when she goes to take a shower, and other times she'll be in the hallway just outside of my computer room, and I'll recognize the song and I'll turn around and she'll be standing in the hallway waggling her eyebrows. I know what that means. It's a great song, Leaflit.
But then we also need people that aren't lazy, that are going to do stuff. But it also involves crushing the socialists and the quangos. Because the socialists and the quangos are also going to fuck shit up. So like it's also going to hinder us from getting to space. Because their ideology is inherent. So let me explain. Like, I can explain like the socialism one. There's way too many for me to like tackle all at one time. But specifically with socialism, communism, the reason why it is morally bad from the standpoint of stellar humanism is because their framework is inherently anti-incentive, and anti-incentive is going to slow progress for like making stuff, and which will lead to us not being able to get to space, possibly in time or possibly ever.
Communism is inherently anti-incentive. It means that it doesn't matter what you do, you get the same stuff as everybody else. And if you work hard, they just take more of your stuff.
They are hindering us right now, yes. Which is why it is a moral bad. So like for me, it is a moral good to speak against communism. Does that make sense? So within that framework, if that is your moral imperative, then it is a good thing for me to speak out against communism. And that would be my job in the entire thing. Do you have this written down anywhere? No, I'm still working on it, Artanis. I'm glad you like it though, but I'm working on it right now. I'm gonna write like an entire thing.
Yeah, I do like it.
A manifesto, if you will. The anti-communist manifesto. Avoid to next. Thank you for the bits. Thank you so much. Manifest Destiny 2.0. Exactly. That's what I mean, right? That's why I said it was like the closest political ideology would be like American foundationalism, right? Techno-Puritanists believe that the hand of God is seen in the advancement of humanity, and that the moral framework that best advances human progress is the truth.
Truth is important.
That's like Malcolm's thing, isn't it? Precure isn't techno-Puritanism? That's Malcolm's thing, isn't it?
I think she means
Malcolm's really cool. I like Malcolm a lot.
from Based Camp.
Your dog. Thank you so much for the bits. So you're pro-tax as long as it's spent on the space program? No. So the reason I'm not okay, Yard Dog. The reason why I'm not pro-tax is because taxes are inherent. Okay. Within stellar humanism,
NASA uses taxes.
Like, high taxes are
what have
immoral.
They done?
They're immoral because the government sucks.
Yeah.
The government sucks at handling any funds. It's better for the private sector to handle any of that shit because they're more efficient. So like high taxes in order to spend on space program is actually inherently bad because it's inefficient. It's gonna clog up progress more than it will advance it.
Yeah, that's one of the things that government is really good at, and that is creating environmental issues, logistic issues, having to talk to 16 different people just to move parts from point A to point B. It's why a toilet seat on a Navy ship, the seat itself costs like, 15, 20 bucks or something. Then by the time that toilet seat actually makes it onto the naval vessel, it costs something like $600 just because of all the red tape that you got to cut through just to get something so simple. And they make it so that you have to go through those channels. If you need screws, I'm going to use the Navy again. If you need a set of screws for a Navy ship, you have to use approved ITAR material so that you can be certain that it's sound for the ship to use, because you don't want anything failing on the ship, obviously. But because of all those bureaucratic restrictions, it ups the price of something that would cost 20 cents to $200. It's a bag of screws. And that's why the government sucks, is because they put those things into place, and a lot of our current politicians and stuff are getting kickbacks from companies that they are associated with because they either created a business or they are associated with a business that is involved in those bureaucracies. So they get some sort of a consultant fee for recommending their business or associated business to satisfy that bureaucracy. And if it was in the private sector, yes, it would cut out a whole ton of needless bureaucracy, get you exactly what it is that you need, and it would only be at a fraction of the cost. The government is very, very, very good All governments are. They're very, very good at weaseling money out of people. Be it, and a lot of it's your tax money. And that's one of the reasons too, is because it's tax money, they don't see it as their money. They don't even see it as your money. It's just money that the government has, and the government doesn't have to pay it back. So they just spend. They create incentives to spend more money because it's not their money to spend. It's just free. They're throwing it in a hole.
And you can see this, right? Just in like SpaceX versus NASA.
Like,
just look at the difference. Like, it's not even close. Like Elon was like, we're gonna make rockets that are reusable. They're reusable, and like they land like straight down. And people were like, that's bullshit. That'll never happen. And then he did it.
That idea, by the way, saves about $50 million per launch because they don't have to reconstruct the base of the rocket. Ideally, what Elon wants to do is he wants to reduce the cost of any spacefaring project to just the rocket fuel. So if he can reduce it down to, well, aside from paying personnel and all that, to like $250 to $300 million per launch instead of, or no, sorry, it's 25 to 30 million? Dang, I don't remember. I'll put it up on screen here, how much it costs for per launch for a SpaceX rocket. Yeah, if that goal is achieved, it's going to be very, very cheap to do space projects.
But Bill Gates told me there's too many people and that we need less people in the world.
Well,
Opposite. We need more people. Have babies. Breed more right now.
the fucking dickhead. See, that's like our enemy right there.
So, a lot of these policies where they want people to do a thing, like there was that Asian dude who's like, yeah, I can't drink milk, so you know it's just how I was born.
So for example, I have milk intolerance. And some people are intolerant to crayfish.
But now we can make people who meat is causing problems, so we can make people allergic to meat.
People eat too much meat, right? And if they were to cut down on their consumption on meat, then it would actually really help the planet. But people are not willing to give up meat. Yeah, some people will be willing to, but other people, they may be willing to, but they have a weakness of will. They say, wow, this steak is just too juicy.
They get bit by a tick, and we can genetically engineer their whole body to make them allergic to meat, so they can't eat meat anymore.
There's this thing called the Lone Star tick, where if it bites you, you'll become allergic to meat. I can sort of describe the mechanism. So that's something that we can do through human engineering. We can kind of possibly address really big world problems through human engineering.
Not me though, because I like a nice juicy steak.
Yeah, I can't do it. I'm one of those, by the way.
Like, come on, man. I was leaning too far forward. My mic is over here. But yeah, it's like the elite want to enforce their will upon you. You will eat the bugs. You will own nothing while they eat their juicy steak, and they have all the money. They own everything, so that you have to rent it, and they can eat whatever they want because they've got the money. They don't want you to have money. They don't want you to own anything, and they want you to toe the line. Yeah, they are evil people.
People are like, well, the earth has like limited resources, and we need less people.
Yes, the earth has limited resources, and we haven't even tapped like 20% of the earth's total resource capacity. So I mean, I made that number up. It just felt right. Somebody who knows better can tell me, but I'm pretty sure the earth has been around for billions of years. Humanity has only been around for a few thousand years of any kind of reasonable capacity where they've been able to harvest resources from the planet. If we have dipped into a significant portion of resources in the planet in just, we'll say, the last couple hundred years, then, well, that is all the more reason for stellar humanism. We've identified a fail state, and now it's time to create a solution so that that fail state does not occur.
Lower birth rates. What a freaking moron. God, I hate those people. Those guys are the biggest quangos, by the way.
Yes.
Chat needs a lecture in what a religion is. I mean, I know it's a little complicated. It's a little complicated. But anyway, that was my TED Talk. I hope you guys liked it. What do you guys think? Who's joining up?
I'll join. It sounds good to me.
We're gonna make it. We're gonna get to space. And if it's not us, if we won't get to space, at least like our you know, the future people will, right? Like our children, our ancestors, they'll get there. We just have to do our best to make it so that they get there faster. Well, I might not be able to do it in my lifetime, but you know,
That's
you
not
guys
the
will
point.
have kids. You'll teach them right, and then they'll be the ones that get there, or maybe your kids' kids get there.
Yep. It's not
But
the
if
point.
we don't do anything and we just fuck around, and
Yeah, it's not the point for us. Like I said earlier, it's not the point for us individually to get to space. It's to lay the groundwork, the pathway for other people to be able to make it there in our stead. And it's in this ideology, in the stellar humanism, it's not only our best interest, but also our moral prerogative to make that happen.
we just like, I don't know, fap to hentai all day, then like we'll never get anywhere, right? And that's not to say that like that's not to say you can't fap to hentai, right? I mean, I'm just saying that like
Moderation. It is a huge waste of time.
if you do it all the time, that's all you do, then we'll never get there, and humanity might end, or the quangos might take over, or something like that. And I'd like to prevent that.
Space. So, yeah, that was nice. That was a good video. I'll link the original in the description below so you guys can check it out if you haven't already seen it. I presume that if you found me and you found this video, that you more than likely have seen the original already. So then I appreciate you sticking around for my thoughts on it. I've just turned a 35-minute video into 2 hours of yapping. So yeah, sorry about that.